It's time for road trips. Here are just a few of the world's craziest roads to either try out or actively avoid on your next adventure. Happy trails! Guilin Tunnel Road. Guilin Road, also known as the Road of No Mistakes, is located in China in the province of Henan, south of Beijing. It is considered one of the most dangerous roads in the world. Built in the mid-1970s along the Taihang Mountain, it connects the village of Guilin to the rest of the country. Before the road was built, the only way to reach the neighboring provinces of Huixian and Xinjiang was to tackle a very dangerous path, through a dizzying climb between ravines and precipices. In 1972, after the government refused the construction of a real road, so a team of 13 men, led by the village chief Shen Mingxin, took on the courageous feat of opening their road to civilization. With only chisels and hammers, they dug a 1,200-meter tunnel, 5 meters high and 4 meters wide, with construction lasting for 5 years. Whole mountain pieces were blown up with explosives, and the windows that open along the walls only served to unload the rubble out, to help alleviate the arduous work. In May 1977, the street was officially opened to the public, turning Guilin into a world-famous tourist destination. A work created to overcome isolation, dug by hand in the heart of the mountain by a few brave men. Today it offers a breathtaking landscape to courageous travelers. 99 Bend Road. Located within the Tianmen Mountain National Park, in northwestern Hunan Province, China, the Tianmen-Shan Big Gate Road, also called the Tianmen Winding Mountain Road, is 11 kilometers, 6.8 miles, long from the bottom to the top. The highest point of the road is at 1.300 meters above sea level, and the lowest point is at 200 meters. The construction of the road took 8 years, finishing in 2006. To get there, you need to drive up Tongtian Avenue, Avenue Toward Heaven, which has 99 turns, symbolizing that heaven has 9 palaces. That's a lot of curves to tackle, with only a few feet separating you from a deadly plunge down the slope. There are also 999 stairs, called Tianan Stairs, also known as Tiantai, or the celestial/heaven reaching ladder, to climb before you reach the peak, where Heaven's Gate, a natural rock arch that was believed to be the link between the gods and the mortal world, awaits. And there are no platforms for stopping. The road is incredibly narrow and winding with extremely narrow tunnels. It has been heralded as one of the most spectacular roads in the world. Paso San Boldo. Paso de San Boldo is a mountain pass at an elevation of 712 meters, 2,335 feet, above sea level, located in the province of Treviso, Veneto, in northeastern Italy. The road to the summit is an engineering masterpiece with 18 hairpin turns and 6 tunnels. It's one of the famous hairpin roads in the world. The most challenging part of the climb is a short stretch of 700 meters with 5 tunnels blasted into the rock with 8 numbered hairpin turns and 6 bridges. The road just allows traffic in one direction, alternating with traffic lights. There is a speed limit of 30 kilometers per hour, 19 miles per hour, and a height limit of 3.2 meters, 10.5 feet, after buses were repeatedly stuck in the tunnels. This road has always had considerable historic importance. It dates back to Roman times. The road replaced a steep path leading up to the summit that existed since the 19th century, but only during the First World War did that project succeed. Between February and June 1918, the Austro-Hungarian army managed to build the road in less than 3 months. After this fact, the road got the nickname Road of 100 Days. 1,400 people, including prisoners of war and women, children, and the elderly in the area, worked day and night to complete the strategic route for refueling during the Battle of Piave. Despite the topographical conditions, the slope could not exceed 12% for the passage of heavy vehicles and artillery. The works began in 1914 under the direction of engineer Giuseppe Carpani. How did the pass get its name? The road is brutally steep in parts, hitting a 37% of maximum gradient through some of the ramps. The drive features 18 hairpin turns. Even though the road is located in Italy, it's named after a Spanish hermit, called Boldo. He was a hermit living in these mountains, and some years late he would become Saint San Boldo. The Stelvio Pass. Stelvio Pass is a high mountain pass at an elevation of 2.757 meters, 9,045 feet, above sea level, located in northern Italy. It's one of the highest roads in Europe. The road itself is a marvel of engineering skill. The exhilarating serpentine sections ask to be driven by experienced drivers for their sakes. All in all, this could be the most magnificent road pass in Europe. It's one of the most scenic drives in the world. Tucked away in northern Italy, on the border with Switzerland, The pass is 46.8 kilometers, 29.08 miles, long, running from Bormio, province of Sondrio, to Prato allo Stelvio, in South Tyrol. Nestled between the imposing peaks of the Ortel-Cividale chain, the pass needs very little introduction. From Prato, its 48 bends carve their way up the mountain in what appears to be an endless road towards heaven, constantly switching back and forth the higher you climb. So how long does it take to drive the Stelvio Pass? Plan 1.2 hours to complete the drive without any stop. It's possibly the most historic of all climbs ever used in pro cycling, a giant in every sense: length, elevation gain, gradient, and the elevation at the top. It's one of the most magnificent roads passes in Europe. Several accidents have already taken place in this high-altitude road, especially among people who underrate the difficulty involved in traversing its zigzag path. Local drivers have been described as homicidal. The road to the summit is paved. It's called Strada Statale 38. It's the highest paved mountain pass in the Eastern Alps, and the second highest in the Alps, after the Col de Liseron, at 2.764 meters above sea level. Its 60 hairpin turns, 48 of them on the northern side numbered with stones, are a challenge to motorists. The route takes you down the rest of the way with little more than a small barrier keeping you from tumbling to oblivion. Featuring hair-raising 180-degree corners, just one wrong move and you could find yourself going over the low concrete barrier and down the side of the Alps. The Trans-Sahara Highway. The Trans-Sahara Highway is one of the most brutal roads in the world. Though about 85% of the road is now paved, there are still several miles of this desert road that are little more than tracks in the sand. Running for a mammoth 4,500 kilometers through 3 countries, it's a test of mettle and guts that attracts the brave, the foolhardy, and the crazy. The road is 2,800 mile, 4,506 kilometer, long and passes through only 3 countries, Algeria, Niger, and Nigeria. Although plagued by security risks along some sections, the bigger danger is in going head-to-head with one of the world's most intensely harsh environments. Adventure seekers may covet traveling this route for the all-out kudos involved, but its real attraction is the opportunity it affords to savor the Sahara at its most spellbinding. Daytime temperatures, rising to 50 degrees Celsius, are scorching, and fuel and water are in scarce supply along much of the route. This isn't a trip to be undertaken lightly. Even the newly paved portions of the road often disappear under immense drifts of sand that block the route for days at a time. The sand can cause other problems, too. Sandstorms are frequent. Although as much as 85% of the road is paved, most of the road is in pretty bad condition with plenty of potholes and bumps along the way. You'll need a 4WD, 4-wheel drive, extensive desert driving, and mechanical experience, and you must be self-sufficient in supplies and equipment. You'll also have to jump through several bureaucratic hoops to get the paperwork and visas necessary for this kind of expedition. Anyone contemplating a trip here should be aware that travelers with their vehicle are required by Algerian law to hire a local escort in southern Algeria, and that the Algeria-Niger border is often closed to foreigners due to instability in northern Niger. Salar de Uyuni. Salar de Uyuni, located in the Daniel Campos province of Bolivia, looks like it belongs on another planet. Stretching for more than 4,050 square miles, a little smaller than the state of Connecticut, it is the world's largest salt flat, formed when several prehistoric lakes dried up 25,000 to 10,000 years ago, leaving behind hexagonal patterns of salt on the otherwise featureless surface. When nearby lakes overflow or the area gets rain, a thin layer of water covers the expanse, transforming it into a massive reflective mirror that makes for jaw-dropping, dreamlike photos. The natural wonder has served as a valuable source of salt and lithium for Bolivia, and it has long been a hot spot for tourism in South America. There's even a hotel built out of salt bricks, the Palacio de Sal. To see Salar de Uyuni's breathtaking mirror effort, visit during the wet season, from December to April, but be aware that when it gets too rainy, it can be hard to get around and you might not be able to access certain areas. May to November is the dry season, which means temperatures are colder, but the ground is harder and you can drive across the land more easily. The ideal month to visit is May, when the seasons transition from wet to dry and you'll have a good chance of seeing the salt flats both dusty and reflective. Salar de Uyuni sits near the point where Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile meet, so tourists tend to come from 3 different starting places. The town of Uyuni in Bolivia is the most popular place to embark on tours of the salt flats. The small town is so close to the flats, you can easily take day trips. If you're traveling from La Paz to Uyuni, you can take a 1-hour flight or an 8-hour overnight bus. San Pedro de Atacama in Chile is another well-known starting point for tours of the salt flats, but because it's about 200 miles away, most tours are 3 days long. If you're coming from Argentina, look into multi-day tours operating out of Tupiza, Bolivia, a good base less than 60 miles over the Argentinian border. The Lake Pontchartrain Causeway. Standing on the shore of New Orleans' Lake Pontchartrain, you might look out over the water and think you're witnessing an optical illusion. The causeway is designated a National Historic Civil Engineering Landmark by the American Society of Civil Engineers. Its first span was the first bridge ever to be constructed using 54-inch in diameter, hollow, pre-stressed concrete piles to support a span. The causeway also was the first to employ mass production, assembly line techniques in fabricating and assembling a bridge, the Louisiana chapter said. The state-of-the-art concrete casting plant was just east of the causeway on the Mandeville lakefront, where the controversial Port Marigny real estate development is being proposed. The original bridge, today's southbound span, cost $46 million, including approach roads on each end, and opened in 1956, carrying two-way traffic. The second span was completed in 1969 for $30 million. When the causeway opened, the toll was $2 for a round trip, the same price motorists with toll tags pay today. Cash customers today pay $3 per round trip. Annual traffic was about 50,000 vehicles when the bridge opened in 1956. Some 12 million vehicles per year now cross the bridge officials say. Japan Snow Corridor. Stretching across the Toyama and Nagano prefectures north of Tokyo, the 90-kilometer sightseeing route, dubbed the Roof of Japan, offers incredible views of the 3,015-meter Mount Tateyama and 2,478-meter Mount Akazawa Dake peaks, while providing access to everything from Japan's highest altitude hot spring to the country's highest waterfall. But the route's biggest attraction when you travel here is the unbelievable Snow Wall Walk, located along the pathway in Yuki no Otani. The corridor features walls of snow that tower as high as 17 meters over the road, the result of months of strenuous work by snowplow truck drivers. The walk takes around 50 minutes and stays open until June 22, when the walls recede as the weather warms. Other highlights along the Snow Wall Walk include Panorama Road, which offers views of the Tateyama peaks, a snow hut, a snow maze, and a snow slide. The Snow Wall Walk may close during adverse weather conditions. Visitors should check the official announcement before making the journey. Travelers can opt to stay a night or two in one of the mountain accommodations on offer. Some of the most scenic trekking routes include Bijodera, a primeval forest that's home to 1,000-year-old cedars and beech trees, and Murido, near the Snow Wall Walk, where visitors can find the photogenic volcanic crater lakes of Makuragaike and the oldest mountain hut in Japan. As private cars are prohibited, visitors must use local public transportation, including a tunnel trolley bus and Japan's longest supported ropeway cable car, and trek along with designated areas. Which of the mentioned roads has impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments section. Hit a like if you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching.